1, 2, 3, 4. All
right, welcome back to Country and Cold Cans. I'm Logan, sitting here with Andy and Kyle, and we have a couple special guests on the show today. We have Mason Server and Blaze Butler from Mason and the Gem Line. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Doing awesome.
Yeah,
man.
Thank y'all for having me.
Hey, I appreciate you guys taking
man.
the time, man. So as you know, the name is Country and Cold Cans, so we're here to talk some roots music, and the cold cans part's cold beer. So what kind of beer y'all got right now?
Well, I got a Bud Light.
Bud Light?
To
All
me
right.
is, that's America's beer, man. That's what's been holding folks down for a long time. You know what I mean? Now, a lot of people argue with you about that, but I love it.
Yeah, he's a Bud Light guy. There's no what I've got, and it's not a can to be fair, but I got a glass bottle right here. This is a St. Arnold's 100% chance of hops Texas Winter IPA. It's a little brewery
nice.
I'm used to Texas. St. Arnold's the patron saint of beer. So yeah, give it a shot sometime.
Hell yeah, man!
Those two beers could not be any further apart.
Yeah.
It's the standard
No.
and the special, and also probably, to be fair, he and I. We're pretty much best buddies, but we probably could not be further apart as people in a lot of ways.
Yeah, the beer represents the personality.
Yeah, the beer represents the personality.
It's kind of
fun to make music, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's kind of funny on the beer thing. So Andy over there has been like one of my best friends since we were like 5 years old, and he prefers light beer. And then as I've gotten older, I generally have been a little bit more on the IPA train myself. So
yeah, what do you got there? What is that? I
so
see?
this right here is this actually isn't an IPA, but this is a New Belgium brewing company, Old Tuffy. So I'm an NC State grad here in Raleigh, and they made a special brew, with the strut and wolf from our logo on there. So that's what I got today is the Old Tuffy.
University of North Carolina sucks.
Oh hell yeah, yeah! Go to Hell Carolina is what we say around here. Yeah, they're pretty much like the University of Texas at Austin. Yeah, UNC is the UT Austin of North Carolina.
Yeah, y'all the underdog, and they're the top dog. Like in that relationship.
Pretty much, yeah.
But for us, it's better to be, in my opinion, it's better to be the underdog. It's much more fun.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because when you win, it's a lot more fun. When you beat the favorite, hell yeah. So I guess jumping right into that, so I see the Texas Tech hat. Are y'all Tech fans?
Big time.
Oh yeah,
big time.
Both graduates.
Hell yeah. And
it's not just a paper thing. It's like paper, blood, and soul type deal. You know what I mean? We're from here. We're from Lubbock, where Texas Tech is at. So we're kind of that double type of fan, because it's not just where we went to school, it's where we're from. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like religion. I'm sure you guys know how it is. It really is. It's like a game day experience, for example. It's almost, we talk about it all the time. It's like a religious thing.
We call Jones Stadium the cathedral. I mean,
yeah.
The cathedral hadn't been a fun place to be lately.
No, we ain't been able to have much good church services over there for about a decade, but we're still hanging in there.
Yeah, what's funny is we actually play you guys in 2022 here in Raleigh. NC State and Texas Tech play at Carter Finley in about 2 seasons.
Well, maybe we need to go up there.
Hell yeah, man! Look, I normally have a pretty decent tailgate spot. We'll get us some Bojangles tailgate chicken. We'll go down there, drink some cold beers, and then hopefully we'll watch the Wolfpack beat the
well, you sure might.
You got the first two things right there.
If things go as they have been going, you sure might.
Well, if y'all beat us, I'll need to drink more cold beer.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. But okay, speaking of, you say you guys are from Lubbock. So I guess the first thing I really wanted to ask, because I've heard a lot about this venue from a lot of people since I've gotten more immersed in Texas music, but it's the Blue Light. Have y'all had the opportunity to play there? And I'm sure you probably spent some time there at least.
Yeah, for sure. We haven't. We're playing there on January the 7th.
The 7th.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's going to be our Virgin experience in terms of being the artist. We've seen a lot of people there, and I played music around Lubbock for a long time, and never kind of. I don't know. I was a little bit always outside that world for some reason. But yeah, our time is coming up in a few weeks. But yeah, so as far as what you're asking though, it's hard to describe. So it would kind of be like it's on Buddy Holly Avenue, Texas Avenue.
Downtown.
It's
next
downtown
to the Cactus Theater and everything else.
Downtown Lubbock, which is, we don't have a huge. It's not like, doesn't look like Manhattan. You know what I mean? But it is just the spot where I guess the biggest and the best come. You know what I mean? And it's really, oddly enough, it's a pretty small room.
Oh, really?
But it literally has a sign up that says blue light, and it's got blue light coming out of it, and it's just a spot where I don't know. It's a very simple. It's a very simple room. It's got a bar on the right and a stage on the left, and I've seen good shows over the years. I saw Mike McClure there one time, and there must have been about 7 people in there, and the guys were just rocking out so hard, and he took a break and he walked over to the bar, and I said, "Dude, you guys are just killing it, man." And he told me, he said, "Well, it's just old burnout rock and roll, man." and went to the bathroom, came back, and brought in those days a CD. And I thought, man, that's this, it's just that kind of place. It's a place where music people like to go.
Yeah. I mean, it's a kind of place where local artists, make their bones, but it's also like, I've seen Lucero there,
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So it's a place that definitely has history.
Mm-hmm.
It has a vibe about it. And like Mason said, it's not the biggest place in the world, but you step in there and you know that you're somewhere special.
Right.
It's a Lubbock staple, and we like to think that Lubbock is a great music town also.
Right.
So you combine those two things, and you got a recipe for a pretty badass little venue. And we are looking forward to playing there in January. I'm telling you.
I bet, man.
It's going to be so much fun. Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, obviously I've only been to Texas, like, really, I don't count my layovers at DFW. That don't freaking count. But I've been to Texas one time, and I went to Austin for about 3 or 4 days. Me and Kyle were down there on a bachelor trip for one of our good buddies, and that was a hell of a time. But Austin is a little bit different than a lot of the rest of Texas. So I'd really kind of wanted to venture out into some of the other cities. And I did want to take a trip out to West Texas at some point, in Lubbock in particular, because of the blue light. Because, there have just been a lot of damn good songwriters that have come out of that area especially in like this generation of like Texas music in particular. Like a lot of guys I listen to are from that area. So I've got a lot of respect for that area musically. But
yeah, it's hard to put a finger on what happens here. I'm not doing the deal of claiming that we're special. Okay. I don't like doing that. I'm a humble guy. But there is something strange about this place, especially when you factor in that where we're at is almost exclusively surrounded by cotton fields. Okay,
right.
So there's no landscape that you're drawing from. You know what I mean? You're not writing about the pines. You're not writing about the mountains. And maybe the absence of those things is part of what makes creativity happen. There's nothing here, dude. There's nothing. Right. There's nothing going on other than what you make happen.
Right.
And I think it says a lot. Love it or hate it. That Code Wetzel's latest thing. He's got God knows this guy's partying his ass off. He's got to be. I would be too. I imagine. I hope I am at some point. But his song about Lubbock is basically like an homage to finding as much trouble as you can possibly get into.
Right.
And for whatever reason, it has that reputation. And I think maybe that's what it is because
for whatever reason, my ass.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do but drink beer, dude, and cause ruckus, So I don't know, but really on the serious side of it, there's been a lot of really good songwriting that's come through this place. Lots of good songwriters going back a long ways, even before this era, But we hope we can kind of help push that forward a little bit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. So like speaking of songwriting, that's also something that I always like to talk about with people because while I walk just shy of calling myself a songwriter, I've been writing songs for like last 6 years since I was in college and NC State. Just something I like to do. It's just like, it's very cathartic experience when you've been able to put down something that you've been thinking about or feeling on to pen and paper and then turn it into a song. It's something spiritual about it, you know? And so like you guys are the two principal songwriters for the band, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So like, do y'all do a lot of like, I guess like mostly solo writing and you bring it together? Or do y'all like co-write much? Like what's the process for you two for the band, Mason and Line?
So what's funny, so this is a relationship that goes back a long way,
right?
First of all. So there are some old songs that we dig back up and work on together. And there's stuff that we do just out of nowhere together. He has a giant whiteboard over here in this room. And I guess to answer your question, we work on stuff together. So I've written stuff by myself and he's written stuff by himself, but really just a couple of years ago or a little over a year ago is when we started heavy getting together and writing together. And we've known each other forever, but really just dug in and started doing that. And we'll just sit around with a guitar, a couple of guitars, whatever, and in front of that whiteboard and just toss ideas back and forth. And for whatever reason, it just seems a little bit easier to do it.
Yeah, and you could start a lot of times for us. It starts with for me. A lot of times it'll start maybe even with just a phrase. You know what I mean? You have some catchy thing or whatever. In other words, like in other times of my life, there would be this whole series of events that happen in my life to bring in and try to and dredge that out and get into a song. And that's still the case to some extent, but I'm a little bit older now and it's kind of different in that way. It's different. Now, a lot of times it's something really like a turn of phrase a lot of time. And you're like, man, I like how that sounds. And like he said, we'll like Blaze said, we'll go in there and take something, maybe a couple of phrases, or you have a half a chorus or whatever, and go through that chord wise over and over again and say, okay, no, I don't like where that goes. Let's put a minor in there. Let's go A minor right here.
Right.
Because I think that's gonna lend itself to the feeling we want to get on this song or whatever. So it's really fun process. We have like I had a lot of songs coming into it. Blaze had songs too. We work with those still, but the most fun thing we're doing right now is taking these ideas and putting them. We work on them together, then put them in front of the band.
Yeah,
because a lot of times it changes so much. You know what I mean?
It really takes shape.
For one thing, you're writing these songs on acoustic.
Yeah,
and now you got some hot shot guitar player that says, "Oh yeah, hell yeah, dude. What if we do this?" And our drummer Russ he's a maniac. He's a guitar player too, but the guitar player and the drummer are metalheads. So you get that weird thing going on, and so recently, really, to tell you the truth, a lot of our stuff is that we're doing now. It still could fit in the Texas country thing, but it has a real Southern rock edge to it. We like to that was the original thing was rock and roll, man. I mean,
it's like too, because when I was listening to it, like the sound of it sounds very familiar, but at the same time, it's a unique sound. It doesn't really sound exactly like somebody else, but it has a very familiar feel to it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it's. I think it's warm feeling. I think the Cap Rock composition, I think that record is accessible. You can get on board with it, but it's not exactly like anything else you
have to. It's like you have to get pigeonholed somewhere, right? And so that's sort of where we fit is the Texas country thing. But I don't know, it's just the sound. Like the name of the record itself is an interesting thing because we labored over that for a little bit, and really the sound of the whole thing is the name of the record. It's a reflection of the songs, but of ourselves also. Like he said, we're from Lubbock, Texas. We're from this Cap Rock area,
right?
So we're composed of Cap Rock elements as well as these songs. I mean, we have we have one. I'm the King touches on kind of a Buddy Holly.
Right.
That's our homage to him. Kind of Chuck Berry, a little more that style. But then you have a working man song, you have a classic country song, you have a little one that rocks a little bit more, and somehow all these elements sort of fit together. And for whatever reason, it just feels like unique to this area. I don't know why that is. I don't know how else to put it. We didn't set out to sound a certain way. It's just what happens when we all start playing music together, you know?
Yeah, it's always interesting to me, like when, like you said, for when a song starts on acoustic versus when you get the full band arrangement, because it reminds me of something DJ Barham once said. I think about it was from the record "Things Change." I want to say it was one of the slower songs, whether it was "One Day at a Time" or "When We Were Younger Men." He said it started off. He wrote it as a rocker, but then he had John Fulbright, producing that record. And Fulbright told him, he was like, how about you slow this one down a little bit, and he hit play and told him to play it, and he just hit record, and that was the take they used on the record. And it was fundamentally different from what he thought, but it just worked. So that's the magic of like the process in my mind, at least.
Yeah. We'd be at a loss if we didn't talk about this just for a second. That a big, huge critical part of this thing is the studio that we recorded at is in Austin, called Studio 601.
Mm-hmm.
And there are two guys, Mike Ingber and Eric Harrison, and those guys. Eric is from Lubbock, and that was the connection.
I went to high school with Eric,
and so he's a Lubbock guy in Austin,
right?
And then also the lead work that you hear on that record is a guy named
Cale Richardson.
Yeah, Cale Richardson.
He used to play guitar with Eli Young Band.
With Honey Brown as well. And so oddly enough, like on House of Golden Diamonds, you have a fiddle. That girl's from Amarillo, which is about 90 miles from us, or a little more, 100 miles.
Yeah.
And Cale is an Austin guy from Lubbock. The guy that recorded is a Austin guy from Lubbock, and then us. So it was almost like we went and recorded this Lubbock transplant in Austin.
Yeah.
And those guys take a lot of pride in that too. Eric, for sure.
Yeah.
Mike is from Long Island, so I'm not sure. I mean, I love the guy, but I don't know. I mean, it's not like a heartfelt thing for him, and necessarily in that way. He's from New York, but it definitely. I wouldn't say it was like an explicit intention to make it sound West Texas. It just is what we do.
Right.
But the components are all from West Texas, so it's just there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a pretty cool spot, man. He took a one car garage and converted it into a studio.
Oh wow.
And man, they have something.
Now you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah. What they've done with this tremendous.
It's a little bitty space that gets a lot of stuff done. It's crazy.
We like to shout them out whenever we can. I mean, the deal is we've been playing music for a while. We're finally getting a crack at this because we had the means to put our music out there, and we've had an unbelievable response. I mean, that's why we're talking to you. That's why we're playing at the Blue Light. That's why we're playing at Hotel Turkey on New Year's Eve, the home of Bob Wills.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so we are so grateful to them for just a weird deal. Me and him started talking one time out of nowhere. Hadn't talked in years, and the next thing you know, they liked our music and said, "Come on down." And we said, "Don't mind if we do." And what else are you going to do in a pandemic anyways? So let's go record some music,
Yeah, and that kind of actually made me wonder, how did you guys get the band together? Because it seemed like you said y'all were doing other things and you've been playing music individually, but how did Mason and the Gen Line itself come together?
I suppose to make a long story short is we're both pretty verbose. You might have gathered this at this point. We like to talk a lot, both of us. You should
we
see
do
the arguments.
That's why we started the podcast. We like to talk too.
But at any rate, no, we obviously like Blaze talked about, we've been buddies forever, and it was really a breakup, to tell you the truth. I had been in a relationship for a good while, and that thing ended, and I went and got some recording software, maybe in some way to I don't know, to deal with it or whatever. But it's something that should have been happened a decade ago or something. Well, so now we had the ability to lay down ideas as opposed to just hanging out and saying, "Man, that's really cool." Right? I mean, you need the ability to track this stuff, to lay it down and go back and work on it later. And we didn't know anything about recording music. So our earliest little endeavors were pretty, man, they're pretty rough. But long story short, he and I started doing this stuff. We laid down Loose Tonight as I guess I just did it like an acoustic version of it.
Yeah.
The guys in Austin.
We did that, and I was playing drums at the time, so we rotated.
Yeah.
When it was just us two, I would get on a kit, and we would, we did a couple shows like that. And he saw us play that song. I was just playing on the kit, and he played with an acoustic guitar. And Eric was like, "Man, I'd kind of like to record that." And we were like, "That sounds cool." And we went and recorded it. And next thing you know, Russ is texting.
So the drummer is a guy that's been around.
He's a better guitar player than Mason, a better bass player than me, and he's
he's best at drums, but really, really, really good at everything else. Better than us at all of it. And he's a guy that I had met playing gigs around Lubbock, and he actually reached out to us, which was really flattering, and so that was kind of a no-brainer. And we got him on board, and that's sort of the genesis of the whole deal. He kind of put us through a little mini boot camp before we went to Austin to record, because he'd been in the game. He played in Tejano bands, so like, I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but like,
can't say that I am.
He's a white guy, but he played in Hispanic music.
Okay. Yeah.
They were like on the
as a kid
in the chart.
Yeah, when he was a kid, he's playing this stuff, and so he had been around the more professional side of that of the musical world for a long time, and so when we get ready, we start prepping the material that gets on this record, and he came in and starts laying down drum stuff. And he's like, "Man, why don't we move this bridge there? Why don't we do this or that?" And he got it in good shape, and then the guys in Austin got it really where it needed to be. So it's a strange.
It's
deal.
a really organic. This whole thing has been so organic. We haven't paid anybody to promote our stuff or anything like that. We just wrote the music, and then we came together the way that we just talked about. We went and recorded it, and the slowly but surely more and more people coming on board, really liking what we're doing. And it's just been, an organic process from the ground up, just building one step at a time. You hear these stories about people that they wake up and they're like, "Oh my God, my song I had 1 million listens or views last night." Yeah. This has just been a labor, but a labor of love. We love what we're doing. And so, it's just been, and we will continue to labor, continue to rock people's asses off as long as they'll let us.
Yeah, it's funny because we learned about you guys out from word of mouth on Twitter. Like I had seen the name pop up a couple times, and then I think I saw Thomas Mooney tweet something about you, and then the guys from Hippies and Cowboys, we had them on the show a few weeks ago. Mike and Garrett, they're good dudes. They had said something. And I was like, well, all these people who I respect their music opinions have been talking about these guys. I started listening, and I sent it to Andy, and I sent it to Kyle, and I was like, hell, let's try to get these guys on the show. So, and here we are. So
we appreciate it, man.
Yeah, for sure.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
When you guys are writing, who are some of y'all's influences? Like, who are some of y'all's favorite songwriters and bands?
Well, man, it's across the board, but I mean, if you go like within the genre, are y'all familiar? Are you familiar with Robert O'Kane at all?
Oh yeah.
So that that might show my vintage a little bit.
Storytelling.
I'm not as young as some of the guys you guys are interviewing, but the great storytellers like that. I loved the Randy Rogers band. Still do.
Oh yeah,
man.
I love Randy Rogers, man.
Of course, Turnpike.
Turnpike.
Oh yeah, I'm wearing a Turnpike hat right now.
Yes. That almost seems like cliche at this point, which is crazy because.
Of course, Turnpike.
But they're so good.
Yeah.
They're such good songwriters. I thought for my money, Randy Rogers to me has an ability. It's kind of strange to me that stuff. Well, it's not strange, I guess. it's funny to me that stuff never went mainstream until you consider what mainstream country is.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But he is a really good writer of songs that people can relate to.
Yeah.
They don't have to be mega technical. They don't have to. They're just good melodies. But yeah, I mean that stuff. But I'll tell you the truth. Outside of that stuff, like Rockstar Dream stuff, man, I love U2, the Rolling Stones, Bruce Springsteen. Huge.
I'm a big Springsteen fan myself.
You know,
we have some internal arguments about Springsteen on this show because we have some differing opinions. But I'm a Springsteen fan. So
great.
So who's not a Springsteen person? I'm just curious.
I'm not.
You're not. No way.
His voice. It's his voice.
Gotcha.
When I listen to him, I can't understand what the guy's saying.
I got you.
It kind of ruins it for me.
That's the feeling I have about, for example, Guns N' Roses.
Right.
I can't dig it because I hate Axl Rose's voice.
Yeah.
I know that's a really old reference, older than us. But if the voice is not there, it's hard to love it ever.
Yeah.
You know?
I would agree.
Dude, it's so there's like you go all over the place with that stuff, man. It's like I'll take it outside. I have a wide range of influences, and I don't know. It's kind of weird if you put it in this context, but like I'm a huge.
I'm gonna get a refresher.
Yeah. Real quick. Will you get me one?
Yeah.
Like Tom Waits, for instance. For me, is just. I mean, he's fantastic. Really, I took a history of rock and roll class at Tech that really turned my head and made me start to realize how good some of this other stuff was. So, for instance, I know we're going real old. It's not like I listen to him all the time, but just as far as like working man plight storytelling, like Woody Guthrie.
Oh yeah.
It's also another example of good, simple songwriting.
Yeah.
So, you pull from a lot of. Actually, you'd be surprised. I mean, after hours when we're done jamming and we go to like YouTube and just start pulling up different songs, you'd be amazed at what ends up on that damn thing.
Dude, I love this. This is a different deal than you'll probably find in any of these interviews. So I speak Spanish. And I listen to a shitload of Mexican music. Not just Spanish, I mean from Mexico. I got a lot of friends from Mexico. That's something that's fairly common around here.
Right.
And I wouldn't say I'm like 100% fluent, but I'm good enough.
Oh, you're close enough.
And so
I don't know what the hell he's saying.
I only say that to illustrate that. I like songwriter songs. They call them corridos in Spanish, and they're story songs. And so, to me, that's I wouldn't say that's necessarily the best kind of song. I mean, you can get joy out of some pop song or whatever that doesn't mean much. But it's always a pleasure to listen to a cool story song. You know what I mean? And maybe we don't necessarily even have that many like ballads per se. But Pipeliner, for example, would be something kind of like that, right? And that's always a treat to do that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I've had Pipeliner's chorus stuck in my head all day, man. Like I love the story in that because it was hilarious at the very beginning. How it was like it was just like it starts off and then married a stripper and then goes on and on and on. I was like, that's a great story.
A real chick.
Well, really,
that's a real chick, dude.
That's awesome. That's a great story for a country song.
So who married the stripper?
What's that?
So who married the stripper? Which one of you married her?
Well, nobody actually married the stripper, but I have a friend that I won't. That was real good friends with this Cuban stripper for a while, and I'm friends with her as well. Not super close friends, but I know her.
Right.
She's pretty easy on the eyes, to be fair, and. I just saw her a few weeks ago. Actually.
Yeah, I was about to say I just met her for the first time a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
I saw her.
She's an interesting character, but that story is based on we're not really in the oil field spot in Texas, but just south of us is Midland and Odessa, Texas.
Right.
And this is just about as pure oil field as you can be. And I thought, man, I kind of had this little idea. And I thought, man, I'm going to write a little song about that. And even me, the person that wrote it, I can see the whole thing transpiring. I've seen that guy. That's why I wrote it.
Yeah.
I know that pipeliner. I've met that guy. He's a damn fool for messing with this chick, but he couldn't let her go. You know what I mean? He just could not let her go. I've seen this actually happen in real life.
Right.
And so I took a lot of pieces and combined it into one story. It says I met her on a lake trip at the Post grocery store. There is a Post, Texas, that's on the way to the lake.
Yep, Alan Henry.
And I was in that grocery store with that Cuban stripper.
And as far as like songwriting process goes, that's one that was rewritten like 2 times.
Yeah,
really.
The first verse, no, but the rest of it.
Yeah, we made the story. We rewrote that. You guys know Charlie Stout?
Oh yeah. I don't know him personally, but I know of him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's a guy around here, songwriter, photographer, just a general
gypsy.
Yeah, he's a general gypsy.
Yeah.
This guy's crazy, man. He's from West Virginia, actually.
He's not
okay.
And yeah, you can't ever quite put a finger on this crazy guy. But I played a show with him, like a little song swap deal not long ago, and I played the first verse of that song, and he told me, "Man, you got to finish that song." I mean, it was just like that's like it's a done deal. You got to finish that. So we tried, and that's what we came up with.
Because I tell you, the beginning. Go ahead.
I also say Marco Gutierrez. Do you listen? You know the Dirty River Boys?
I've heard of them. I'm not super familiar with them though.
So do yourself a favor. Go listen to Dirty River Boys.
Yeah, you'll like it.
It's like Irish folk, country. In any case, their lead singer Marco Gutierrez, he's the guy that's singing backup on that track.
Okay, cool.
We passed it along to him. He really liked it and jumped on. And so part of the reason why that song turned out so well is because some good backup vocals there. I try to measure up whenever we play it live.
Oh yeah. So one thing that I did want to, because you guys mentioned it a little bit earlier. You said you're in, I believe you said you were in Caprock country. Obviously, like I said, I'm a North Carolinian. I'm an East Coast kid. Like, what exactly does Caprock mean? Because it's the title of the EP, Caprock Compositions. I was curious about that when I saw that.
So what the Caprock is a geographical change in landscape in Texas.
Okay.
When you come from the South, be it anywhere, really, even the Metroplex, Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, when you get to Post, where the Post grocery store's at, just outside of Post, you're going to climb up 200 or 300-400 feet onto the top of a big ass flat rock. And that's what we live on. That's where the Great Plains begins, right there, I suppose.
Okay, it's a weird, there's little fingers of it and stuff too.
Yeah, it cuts into the landscape here and there. So there's like little canyon type territory that happens around these parts. But basically, where we're at is set up top on a place that's a little higher elevation than most of the rest of Texas. So. I mean, that may be why we're better. You know what I mean? We got a little bit better, cleaner air up here. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
No, we're not really better. I jest. We love all of Texas, but that really is what happens. You come up, and it's not just super drastic like you're driving up the side of a mountain in Colorado.
Right.
It's just there's a pretty big shift, and all of a sudden it's flatlands.
Right.
It's very flat, all farming stuff after that.
Gotcha. So one thing, I guess, with you guys kind of like releasing a record now, obviously there's a pandemic, all that thing going on. So like, how has touring changed? Like, has that drastically been different? Like when it comes to promoting the record and all the stuff that comes along with the new release, how is that different now than what it would have been?
It's funny, here in West Texas, for better or worse, I would almost say it's not terribly different. I mean, obviously we have a couple of shows coming up already. Right. It's different, okay? Now it is.
Yeah.
Everything's different. Social distancing and there's less people allowed in the venue. For instance, like at Blue Light, we're not going to get as much money as we would otherwise,
right? Because
not as many people are even allowed in to watch. But I think just the fact that we are able to have shows is sort of, it says something, because there's a lot of people, depending on where you are, that they can't even play.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had opportunity. It also gives us a chance. So, for instance, now these shows that we're playing, we have the EP, we have the single, but we have a lot of original material. Mm-hmm. And so we're actually already planning. We already talked to the guys, and we're planning on getting back in the studio. I think this next go round, we're just going to drop a full album.
Oh, nice!
And hopefully by that time, all this is done, and we can, we can tour or play shows on the heels of that. Is the that's the dream. Fingers crossed. But right now, we're just going to play where we can, when we can, and be happy for it. That's all you can do.
We've done a bunch of that stuff, dude. Biker rallies and shit.
Yeah. Biker rallies. Back there, we played at Buffalo Springs Lake. I mean, I know you shouldn't know what that is, but that's our little lake out here next to Lubbock.
Right.
You Google it, you'll find some stories. That's what I can tell you. But they have a little stage out by the water, and people pull up. They pull up all their trucks and drop the tailgates and drink beer, and it was actually kind of fun, So it's provided a chance to actually play some interesting spots,
Oh yeah.
If you want to look at it that way, I guess.
Places you might not would have played otherwise.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Very true.
I forgot what the biker club. There was the
Aces and Eights thing.
Yeah, and the main guy, was like Panther or Bulldog or something, and he kind of walked up to us and gave us like the fist bump, handshake, whatever it was, like we give y'all approval. And that almost like would y'all want to get in on this action? We thought, no, we sure don't. We want y'all to give us some money, and we're going to get them out of here.
Yeah.
Maybe some beer.
Yeah, hey, yeah.
We'll take some beer.
A little bit of beer, a little bit of cash, and then hit the road, right?
Yeah.
So, I do have a question. As someone who lives in a small town, which I think is fairly similar to where you guys are from in Texas, what is the story behind Heller Houston? Because I've never heard any Texan ever say anything bad about Texas. But you guys kind of crap on half of the state of Texas.
Yeah. That's a really, really good question. So, okay, in truth, we don't have any issue with Houston, but you'll find this amongst Texans if you talk to enough of them. Houston is a little bit of a Houston likes to self-identify. They have a different vibe. Houston is right on the border of not right on the border, but it's culturally as close to Louisiana or closer than it is to the rest of Texas.
Right.
But to tell you the real truth, one, I liked how the phrase sounded. I've never been to hell, but I've been to Houston. The two H's or
the
whatever.
Thing is, it's sort of
it works.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Houston is about 200% humidity. I mean,
it's so hot.
It is sweltering.
That's a big part of that.
This beer right here is from Houston, actually. So,
it is so hot, and it is so metropolitan. I mean, it is a huge, gigantic city hole, man. I mean, it's it's a big, huge city, which it's an awesome city. So, I think that a lot of folks from Texas that hear that song,
they get the joke.
If you're from Houston, they'll probably get the joke. You know what I mean? And we laid off a few other ones too. Waco being one of them. That's there.
Yeah. When we were listening to these songs, my fiance is a huge Joanna Gaines fan. And she took exception to that. Yeah, she took exception to that. She was like, I don't know why they're hating on Waco. Waco is a pretty city.
Well, has she been to Waco?
No, we have not. She wants to go. But I mean, that's probably my favorite song on the record. I really like it. And like I said, I'm from North Carolina. I've been to Texas one time with Logan. Want to go back. But the thing that I found like really interesting about that song is, I don't know if it's true or not, but online you kind of see there's Texas and then there's like Austin and then there's Houston. I don't know if that's true, but you see like Austin and Houston
just culturally different.
Yeah, they kind of like self-isolate from Texas.
So. Yeah.
There's definitely truth in that.
Yeah.
So it's just so like so the attitude of that whole song is like you said. I mean, Tulsa fit the meter, and it is what it is. I have cousins in Oklahoma, so that was funny. Waco, I mean, the thing is, I'm trying really hard to say we were just kidding about Waco, but I'm not kidding about Waco. and Houston, the thing that started that whole song was evidently he'd had that line in his head for a while, and I'd never heard it before. And he was just dinking around the guitar, and he said, "I've never been to hell, but I've been to Houston." And I just started laughing. I just started laughing because it's funny. I was oh my God.
And I said, no, man, really? Like really?
That's hilarious.
I want to put that in a song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But really, it's no layoff on Houston. But Houston is a very culturally different city. Austin, in its way as well. Mm-hmm. Austin has that reputation of being a place
slogan,
Yeah, keep Austin weird is like a thing.
Right, right.
Yeah. And so Austin has that reputation of being musical. It's a more left-leaning city than most cities in Texas. Houston is more balanced in that way, I suppose, but Houston is very Houston has populations of every kind of people that there are out there, which actually makes it an awesome city.
Right.
Now, I don't want that to be misunderstood.
Yeah.
It is the closest thing to, say, New York that you can find in Texas. Which okay, so when you look at it when you look at it in that way, we love that. We love the fact that it's multicultural, multi-ethnic. That's a good thing. But it's still just fucking Houston. I'm sorry, pardon my French. Yeah. It's too damn hot.
Yeah,
the traffic sucks. It's the worst in Texas. It's worse than Dallas.
Yeah,
it's worse than. That's saying a lot.
I believe Houston's the fourth largest city in the country.
It is.
Yeah,
it's a gigantic place.
Most of my friends that have been to Houston and my older brother who's traveled down to Houston for work sometimes, they all come back with the same review and they tell me verbatim it's a shithole. It's what they say to
me. Let me spare Houston some here though.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me tell you, if you've ever gotten off an airplane in Houston and you get off the airplane to walk into the terminal or whatever, you feel the heat just walking off the plane. You haven't even been outside yet. But this brewery is there, St. Arnold's, and there's another one called Carbach, and both of them are amazing. So, I mean, there's some things.
And bottom line, ZZ Top from Houston.
Absolutely,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, so that's case closed right there. If you ever thought we really hated Houston, I guarantee you, I don't hate ZZ Top. That's scripture right there. So. No. We and most of that's tongue in cheek. But there is a cultural difference. There's a difference in the climate, the landscape.
Yeah.
The people to some extent, but it's not most Texans will stick together if it comes right down to it. Yeah. But the folks from Houston, they probably be the last ones to get on board. You know what I mean? Austin and Houston, but we're from Houston, and you're like, but you're still a Texan, and it. So
plus, they hate the Cowboys. They hate the Cowboys in Houston, and that's the issue.
As a lifelong Redskins fan, hail to the Redskins, or should I say the football team? I hate the Washington football team, established 1932. But I hate the Dallas Cowboys with a passion, so I can get on.
Well, I think we're going to make a Super Bowl run yet.
Hey, we're still in this thing, man.
Yeah, we're
the NFC. The NFC East is garbage this year.
Boy, it's bad. Isn't it bad?
It's terrible.
Hey, to tell you the truth, though, to be fair, I think that of all the teams in the NFC East, the trajectory of the Redskins is the best.
It has been. That defense has been legit this year. Man. I think so too. When he left.
Coach. Made me sick when y'all nabbed him and we were just sitting around with our thumb up our ass waiting.
Man. The Cowboys is the Cowboys, because you mentioned that, the Cowboys is a whole different deal.
Yeah.
The every year, I love to say this. After every game, after every completion of a catch, I will declare Super Bowl run, baby. Because one of these days we're going to get it back, but I don't know when it'll be.
The glory days of the 90s.
You know what's unique? regarding the NFL, what's unique about North Carolina, there's a generational shift. Andy and I are outliers for people our age because we're all about Andy, me, and Kyle are around 26, 27. So, like, we're outliers for people our age, but there's a generational shift on who you pull for in North Carolina in the NFL because the Panthers, are a relatively new team. And North Carolina used to be split. It was majority a Redskin state for the majority of the time that like my parents and grandparents were growing up, but there was a sizable population of Cowboys fans there. For instance, like my parents were lifelong Cowboys fans. My granddaddy, me, and my brother are all Redskins fans. Andy, who is one of my best friends in the whole world, he's a damn Cowboys fan, and I'm a Redskins fan.
That's
so it's like we have kind of a split in this state for that stuff.
Isn't it funny how that? And it's a shame. And I feel sorry for y'all that y'all are both NFC East fans right now.
I know.
Well, if there ever was a time that we needed to come together and unify, I think it ought to be under America's team, and y'all ought to get on board. This is a holy cause. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh man,
is Dak better? So we can.
No, that's cool stuff, man. That's really fun to have those rivalries, man.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I've been to. I don't think I've ever been to North Carolina, but I've been to Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been to
and it is man. Y'all got a nice neck of the woods over there. That's beautiful country, and I know it's not just one. Not just one thing. I get it that North Carolina is not the same as Virginia or whatever, but when you start heading that way, I've been to Tennessee, been to Virginia, went to DC, it's a pretty spot over there that you guys have.
Yeah, North Carolina is pretty cool because we have, we got like the tip of the Appalachian Mountains out west. Mm-hmm. We've got like the Piedmont area, then the coastal plains, and then we got some damn good beaches on the coast. So it's like all within a very drivable distance. You can like.
I always think of Eastbound and Down whenever I think of Myrtle.
Oh yeah. I was just watching that show not too long ago. It was like when Will Ferrell was isn't that the one where Will Ferrell was guesting? Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. So one thing I did want to ask while we're kind of talking sports a little bit, you guys have said like most of the time, and I've noticed this about Texans stick together very well. And I've saw that when Texas Tech, when y'all went to the Final Four a few years ago, a lot of the I saw on Twitter some Aggie fans and some Longhorn fans were saying, well, we're normally rivals, but we're going to pull for you guys in the Final Four. Is that prevalent or is that just Twitter talk?
Oh, it's probably prevalent. There's that whole thing that, and this is a whole nother conversation, but there's that whole Texas people have a bit of a supremacy complex, if you will. Texas folks a lot of times tend to think that they're bigger than their britches. You know what I mean? In the part of the state that we live in, I'll give you a good example. And this is the vast minority because the biggest part of the population is away from here. But our closest neighboring state is New Mexico.
Right.
And growing up, every time we crossed the border, I mean, just in my heart, I felt, man, now we're in the territory of just, God almighty, man, New Mexico, man, it ain't worth the shit. And now
land of enchantment.
And now that land of enchantment.
It is enchanting.
It is. It's awesome.
It's beautiful.
So as you grow older and you get away from those stereotypical beliefs and stuff. Listen, so to answer your question, we do stick together, but
here's the thing. But
those of us that are enlightened in the least way understand we're just from another place.
Right.
We love our home just like you love your home. You know what I mean? There's no, but there is. I tell people this all the time. I believe this, and I believe it across the whole damn world, not just here. There's good people everywhere you go.
Yeah,
and probably most of them are good.
Yeah,
probably most folks that you come across are going to be good people because that's just the way folks are. But yeah, we have a thing. We thing to us,
but if A&M or Texas is playing the Final Four, they can. I ain't interested in that.
Damn sure not.
That's how North Carolina is.
A&M ain't even the Texas school anymore.
Oh no, they're in the SEC
South now.
Yeah,
they've forsaken us.
They sold themselves out to the Southeast.
Hey, you know what caused that though? That Texas caused that deal.
Yeah.
They're the ones that wanted that TV channel, Longhorn Network, and all that kind of stuff. And A&M said, "Bullshit! I'm not doing that."
Well,
I can't even hate them that bad for that.
They sold out their state for it, dude.
Yeah, they did. What kind of people would ever do that?
Jerks, man. No, I have a family that went to A&M. I really considered going. I got into A&M and considered going. And
I don't know if I put that on in public.
I know, but I made the right decision. All right, so
yeah. See, A&M.
I think. Geez.
Like I said, I'm an NC State grad. Kyle went to East Carolina, and Andy's lifelong
Ruffin.
So
was Ruffin there?
He was.
There?
He got unfortunately fired right before I graduated.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I miss
horrendous
Ruffin,
mistake. Man. Yeah, he came from. He was part of the Texas Tech system.
Yeah,
he was. He was our defensive coordinator.
Mike Leach, I think.
Under Mike Leach.
Yeah.
What a phenomenal.
Whenever we
coaching.
made the mistake of firing him. So.
What a phenomenal coaching tree. He's
yes.
Dana Holgerson. I mean, the list just goes on. Yeah.
Yes. Oh God.
We jumped you there.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. I was saying I had one quick point about A&M. A&M is basically like the NC State of Texas. So I have a soft spot for them just because we also are the agriculture and engineering school in our state. So I have a soft spot for A&M just for that. But one thing, just like you were talking about Texans generally sticking together on that. And then Blaze was saying, you know what, screw it. I ain't pulling for them. That's how we all are in North Carolina. I don't give a damn who it is. Who's playing UNC. I'm pulling against UNC all day long. It's ABC, anybody but Carolina.
To be fair, A&M, I do feel that way. I just do. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But
I know people and I love people that went there.
Yeah.
But Texas, I mean, shoot, that national championship that happened a million years ago, I was cheering for Texas to win that sucker.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wish we could send Mac Brown back to Texas.
Man, I bet they do too.
Hey, you guys know? Y'all know of Ross Cooper?
The name sounds very familiar. Isn't he a songwriter in Nashville?
Yeah, he is. And so his brother was in my graduating class at my high school, and him, they're both Aggies. Him and his brother, they were saddle bronc guys. I don't think they were bareback riders. I don't know. They rode bucking horses.
Right.
Anyway, for example, those two guys went to A&M, and I hate that, but I love them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So there's that. I ain't gonna stop loving those guys.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, I feel you on that because we live so close to Chapel Hill, and I have so many friends that are either went to Chapel Hill or are fans of UNC that you can love the person, but hate where they went to school.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
I feel
we all have friends that made bad decisions.
yeah. That you wouldn't be a friend if you didn't let them know too.
Exactly. Exactly.
I know how you feel. My mom is a UNC grad, and I love my mom, but I hate.
She made a poor choice.
She did. Yeah. I just can't understand what her decision process was back in the early '90s.
I love it.
Yeah, it's not her fault. I'll tell you, I have a memory of UNC, and this shows my age too. But and I forget what year it was. We had a basketball team that went to the Sweet 16 when I was a kid, a men's team. And there's this guy named Darvin Ham, and this infamous dunk he had. You can Google it. It's called the Ham.
A tech player. Yeah.
And we beat.
He broke the backboard.
Yeah, we beat North Carolina to go to the Sweet 16. UNC, the big basketball school, and he slammed a ball so hard into that hoop that he shattered the backboard.
To beat UNC.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So it was the game winning dunk was the one he shattered the backboard.
It wasn't game. Well, it might as well have been.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because whenever you do that to somebody,
it was a devastating blow.
It sends a message.
Yeah.
Oh man. So hey, Andy, Kyle, do you guys have any other questions before we jump into our quick lightning round we have always at the end of these interviews?
Lightning.
I think that's all I got.
When's the next album dropping?
Man, boy, that's a good question. We gotta get back in there, and we have the material. The songs are there.
So you got the hard part.
Yeah, we got to get back to Austin and lay them down. Which I would imagine we can. I would imagine we'd be thinking about that process in February, March. And then those guys need some time. So I don't know. It's a ways away. I wish it wasn't, but We could. We thought about doing this. We probably go lay down another single release that we can see in the next 3 or 4 months. You know what I mean? And then work on that album, because you got to keep feeding the machine. You know.
Hopefully, before the bell tolls on 2021, probably.
Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's what I'd say.
That's faster than I thought. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now we'll get one out as soon as we can. I mean, it's literally a problem at this point, because the songs are there, but you're going to start getting into the part of doing playing and all that kind of. It's not a problem. It's a good problem to have, I guess, is the way to say it. But we got stuff coming out and more of it. Little talk about some stuff about actually New Mexico, Arizona. We've got some more color to put in there. There's some stuff that will be interesting for people, I think.
Hell yeah, man. All right, so if you guys are ready, we'll jump into this lightning round, as we say. It's most of the time with these questions, it isn't heavily on making music. It's more just all kinds of things from like beer and everything like that. So if you guys are ready,
I like that.
Yeah. All right, so the first one. What's your favorite late night drunk fast food place to go to?
Oh,
Whataburger.
yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
That's right.
Spicy or fancy ketchup?
Yeah, it's
both. Which ketchup? I'm weird. I like both. I like the regular ketchup for my burger and the spicy for my fries. I dip my burger into the regular and spicy for the fries.
See, I just had spicy ketchup in Austin for the first time, and at first I didn't like it. Then I tried it again
it's
on
weird,
the second
right?
time I went there, and I was just like, you know what? I actually am coming around on this a little bit. I got to give Whataburger credit. It was a fantastic burger. We had a whole episode where the big part of it, we were debating the best fast food burger, and we were it really came down to Whataburger or Wendy's. So
yeah,
it's a tough choice. I mean, it's got to be Whataburger for me.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be Whataburger.
So college or NFL?
College.
Yes. Yeah, being from Lubbock, Texas, definitely.
Yeah, gotta be.
Oh yeah,
it's all about them Red Raiders, man, all the time.
All right, so what's each of your absolute favorite beer of all time?
Fucking Bud Light, dude. It's the juice of champions, man. What else you need? That's the way I look at it. Well, I mean, why are you going to try all this other fancy shit? You got Bud Light.
No, because what you need is Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
No, there's
it's a strong
good.
choice. It's a strong choice. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. But this dude, I'll tell you what we used to drink all the time: Bud Select. That was like
that's bad though. That probably for me, really and truly, is just red American Budweiser, dude.
Ooh, Bud Heavies.
Bud Heavy, dude.
Bud Heavies, boy.
Many American working man has quenched his thirst with that thing.
Hey man, Sierra Nevada passes as long as you buy the ones that are brewed in Asheville, North Carolina.
That's right. They have a huge brewery. They have a huge brewery in Asheville that looks like a castle.
Now I know what to look for. I know what to look for.
Yeah.
I don't know where the other brewery is, but I do know one is in Asheville.
They got one in California.
Yeah, California somewhere. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, the one in Asheville looks almost like a castle. It's huge. I've only seen pictures, unfortunately, because I need to make a trip out there at some point. I have no excuse because it's only a drive away. It's not a short drive, but it's a drive.
I need to make a trip out there too.
Hell yeah,
it's gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So when you're traveling on the road, what are the van jams?
You know what? What comes to mind? It's stuff you're not going to think it. Like, for instance, Motorhead.
Okay.
Yeah, Ace of Spades.
We've covered Ace of Spades.
You got to remember we're with Metalhead people, man.
Oh
they
at the biker rally we played Ace of Spades.
Yeah, we actually do a cover.
I loved it.
I'm no Lemmy, but I give it a shot.
No, I'm the Lemmy. I play bass, so I get to be Lemmy.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
All right.
That and I mean, stuff like weird stuff like Maná, the Mexican rock and roll band.
Oh yeah, okay.
All kinds of stuff.
Foo Fighters.
Yeah,
Foo Fighters. That's a good choice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, beach life or lake life?
Oh, lake, because we ain't got no beach.
That's true.
Well, even if we had a beach, I'm lake.
Yeah, I like the lake. There's no sharks and stuff.
Yeah, I like the beach too, but There's something about unloading a boat and putting a cooler beer in there and just docking and just sitting in the lake.
Although the beach has the beach itself, which is awesome because you can camp right there on that.
Pretty much, yeah.
And that's pretty neat. But we never really had that. You know what I mean?
We do some lake camping though.
We love to lake camp.
You should look up Lake Gaston, North Carolina.
Yeah, that's where we're all basically
Gaston,
from.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down.
Hey, if you guys will get us a gig, we'll stay out there this summer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could probably look around and see what's happening. I'll let you guys know because it's a pretty big lake for at least North Carolina standards. I don't know about Texas standards, but we're all from the Lake Gaston area, so we're kind of split. I know Kyle's more of a lake guy, but I'm definitely more of a beach guy because I spent while I grew up on the lake, I spent a lot of time at the beach. So like I said, I'm a coastal kind of guy. But yeah, Lake Gaston, definitely check it out. All right.
I wrote it down.
So if you could play with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be for each of you?
Oh my gosh!
Dude,
man!
Why you got to do this?
What a heavy question! Oh man!
You know what? I'll say. Can I have for different circumstances? Okay, like if I wanted to do like a really upbeat show where everybody is like having a good time and smoking and all that stuff, like 311 would be awesome.
Oh, hell yeah!
311.
Yeah,
for going old school, if I want to do something like monumental and just like pure chaos breaking out and all this stuff, maybe The Doors,
Okay.
With like Jim Morrison at the helm.
That would be chaos.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Actually, I say it's not tough. You'd have to jump back a little bit in time, maybe not like way back, but if you could do like a mid 2000s open for U2 or do something.
I thought about that. That's so heavy. We saw U2 together at Dallas Cowboys Stadium. The new one.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. U2 is one of those things like either you like them or you don't.
Right.
And that's one of the things that has kind of like bonded us over the years is we just do. It is what it is.
I still haven't forgiven them for putting that album on my damn iPhone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I saw a joke about that again today,
No, but in more recent times, man, I'd love to play with like I mentioned earlier, I'd love to play with Robert O'Keen or Joe Ely. That might be a strange reference, but that's another Lubbock guy that.
Yeah, I've heard the name for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one's a little bit strange because it means different things depending on what part of the country you're in. When I say the word barbecue, what does it mean to you?
Well, I think I know where you're going. It's going to be beef, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that barbecue's from cows. I don't know who thinks it's not.
You're right, but it's brisket.
No, brisket. But you know what, though? To tell you the truth, we had this conversation last night. It's funny you mentioned that.
Just last night we were talking
I just
about whole hog.
Eat a pig as anything.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
And I want a whole hog barbecue, man.
We don't do whole hog out here. A cow. Well, even just like on your daily life, like a steak is so heavy, man. It's so heavy. When you eat a cow, it's super heavy, and pork has got so many good cuts. I love to eat pork, to tell you the truth.
Oh, yeah.
I do, and I'm not even against by any means pork barbecue, but out here, barbecue typically going to be.
I want a whole hog with the mustard-based barbecue, man.
That's South Carolina style because around here, from Raleigh east to the coast, it's vinegar-based chopped and minced barbecue.
I like that too.
Yeah. People getting fights with people around here for calling something vinegar based barbecue or pork barbecue.
My grandfather actually won the best barbecue in the state of North Carolina in like 2005.
Dude, that's awesome!
Oh my god!
Yeah,
So
before he passed away,
on hella barbecue.
Yeah, I got the recipe and everything to win that competition many moons ago. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna definitely have to connect now.
Well, one thing for sure is we can all agree on is that there ain't no Yankees got any good barbecue out there.
Oh yeah.
To them, barbecue is a verb. To them, barbecue means they say we're having a barbecue. I've never heard of that before. You have a cookout. Barbecue something to eat.
Yeah, there's barbecue at the cookout.
Yeah. All right, so the last one I got for you. If you can only listen to one album on repeat for a full year, what do you go with?
Oh man,
I know mine because I've been listening to it on repeat for about almost a year now already. It's Mike and the Moonpies, Cheap Silver and Solid Country Gold.
Fantastic record.
I can't stop listening to it.
We saw
absolutely
them,
cannot.
We saw them open for American Aquarium out here at last year's road trip.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and it was a fantastic show.
Mike and the Moonpies and American Aquarium.
Yeah,
same show, spoiled out there.
Oh,
you got to be kidding me.
That's only on the road trip to Raleigh shows because most of the time we don't have two heavy hitters like that in one show.
That's pretty incredible. Although, the Mike and the Moonpie stuff, that's the reason why I've been spinning so much because I guess I just got turned on to them about like a year ago. So I'm kind of ashamed to say I didn't really know about them before that, but it's one of those things that whenever you hear it, it's like,
oh yeah. And that record, I think they recorded it in London, if I'm not mistaken.
I'd have to double check. Well, the thing is, they're one of those bands. They're kind of they record different records in different places.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure. Depending
on the sound they're going for and the people they want to work with, wherever they record, they might have though because they covered who's the original that did the London Homesick Blues. They covered London Homesick Blues, and I think they did a great job.
Why don't we know that?
I don't know. It's somebody from around here, I want to say, but I don't even know.
I'm gonna say this, but it's not. It's not true. But I'm trying to come to a conclusion on an album because I always listen. I'm a sketchy person. Like
I'm amazed he's
my mental health is questionable sometimes. I suppose. No, I have a short attention span. I don't like movies because they take too long.
Right.
So albums are a weird one, but I will say one album that's not from the recent past necessarily, but it's not super far back. I know you love this one. You'll vouch for it. Mescalito from Ryan Bingham.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Damn,
that's a fantastic record too.
It is the whole thing from start to finish.
Yeah. I mean, like as a complete. Because when you start talking about albums, as a complete work, there's so many. That's what I lie when I say don't listen to them all the way through. Well, not really. I don't ever.
Yeah, but you pick around.
But yeah, I pick around too much. But a complete album is a tough thing. I was having this conversation earlier with a guy I work with. We were talking about Cole Wetzel's latest one actually, and I said, well, there was a song that just wasn't working for us.
Right.
And I said, well, if you got 12 songs and you got 4, say, that are very listenable, that's probably not a bad effort, which is not what you try to do. But I think that one's more like it has a little bit of that art project type deal to it. I think he doesn't give a shit if you like it or not.
Right.
Is what that's about. But, for me, you talk about albums that are just great from top to bottom, something like that.
Yeah.
Where you can actually just listen to every single track on it.
Or Tom Waits on Saturday Night. There's a little nugget. That's a nugget for you right there. If you know, I know Tom Waits isn't for everybody either, but Tom Waits' Heart of Saturday Night. You have a few drinks and put that on and tell me that you
really
just love it.
The jazz elements.
He paints a picture like nobody else with his lyrics, man.
Here you go. How about Born in the USA, Bruce Springsteen?
Oh yeah, fantastic album. Yeah, we'll come full circle with Bruce Springsteen.
Right.
Americana right there.
Yeah. Chris Knight got good stuff too. I don't know about full album wise, but
Tom Petty.
Oh, maybe. Tom Petty. I make the argument with people all the time that Tom Petty is the greatest American artist of all time, just holistically.
We actually had a podcast about this.
We had that very topic.
So you wouldn't even say, like, you wouldn't even put Cardi B in the running?
I'd have to say
she was third.
She was third. Tom Petty barely edged her out, but we gave him the nod.
Wu-Tang Clan 36 Chambers. That's good.
So I guess one last one I have for you guys, and feel free to bow out of this one if you don't want to answer it, but in one word, describe most mainstream country.
Oh, schlock.
Shit.
Yeah, he said shit. I said schlock. And it's a shame because there's a lot of talent there.
There is, yeah.
They so push the agenda of what people want to hear. For example, you guys hear this deal that now all the songs do like this.
Yeah, the snap track. Yeah. Yeah.
But what's going on with that? You can throw that in there one time on an album every 4 albums.
Yeah.
Why is every song? I mean, what are we doing there? Like it's so. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't even, the truth is it doesn't even, it's hard for me to even comment on it because it doesn't, not because I'm a warrior against it, but there's nothing that I ever hear that I like.
Right.
So
there was a time like in the 90s when mainstream country was, we just watched this video of Aaron Tippin the other day.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
My grandma used to love Aaron Tippin, man.
His stage presence.
Bar none. But I mean, you had, like Tim McGraw and I mean, Garth Brooks, George Strait.
Better yet, Brooks and Dunn.
Oh, yeah.
George Strait.
Mark Chestnut. Yeah, Tracy Lawrence, Mark Chestnut, Joe Dixon.
Tracy Lawrence is the GOAT to me.
Alan Jackson. Alan Jackson is one of our favorite artists of all time because that guy is just like the amount of like quality songs that he himself wrote is something you didn't even get that out of Nashville much, like where it was just solo rights during the 90s. So it's like, I got to give that guy respect on that.
That 90s country is that was an era where the mainstream, for whatever reason, maybe it's because we're younger than that in terms of being your primary focus. I don't know, but oh man, dude.
Oh, you could crack a beer and throw a steak on the grill or a burger or whatever. And
if I hear Tracy Lawrence, Time Marches On, I'm crying.
Oh my
this
gosh,
day.
yeah. Dude, Time Marches On is a fantastic song. Front Porch. That was another.
Texas Tornado.
Texas Tornado might be my favorite. I don't even know how that was slipped my mind. I'm a big Tracy Lawrence fan.
Woo.
Yeah.
I should have said, if you could play with any artist, alive or dead, that's what I should have said. Without damn question, it's Tracy Lawrence. And I hope that he's still got curly blonde hair coming out the back of his cowboy hat. He don't no more. I think he's bald like me. He got no hair.
That's all right. Mason's going to grow out his back length, though.
Yeah, these guys, you guys appreciate that. But I have a constant flood of requests all the time that as the front man to wear a cowboy hat but grow the back out. Because nobody will know. That's what they say.
Right.
Absolutely. Yes.
What happens when you pull it off?
Do y'all support
You don't pull it off, though.
At any time? No time.
Never.
Think about it. Think about it. He doesn't have the back part, but how many times have we ever seen Kenny Chesney without some type of hat on?
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
for sure.
Yeah. See? It can be done, man.
It can be done.
This whole podcast.
I'm not saying
tape,
I'm not saying I'm endorsing it, but I mean, I'm not against the idea.
You can say it.
It would look badass till I took it off. That's all I can say.
All right, so if you guys want to go on and tell us how we can find you on social media and everywhere, like everybody go out and make sure you buy and stream, especially buy Caprock Composition from Mason and the Gen Line. So if you guys want to tell us your social media accounts so people can go follow you there.
All of them. I think we get the most money if you buy our work on iTunes, of course, but we're fine with you just listening to it anywhere. It's on YouTube, so you can find it on YouTube. We have an Instagram at Mason and the Gen Line Music. We have Twitter at Mason the Gen Lin LIN1 because somehow that was taken already. And our Facebook is easy enough to find, just Mason and the Gen Line, and that'll pull right up as well. So
Spotify,
Spotify. We're on Apple Music, Amazon, all of it. If you want to find us, you can, and please do. We're keeping up with everything, so you'll know about upcoming shows. We'll drop maybe a little video here and there for you, trying to keep the people entertained. Obviously, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about this. Just bring it up again. New Year's Eve, the New Year's Eve party. It's the steak night and New Year's Eve party.
Steak night
at the Hotel Turkey. Yeah, not at the Prairie Rose.
I was hoping you were going to say the Prairie Rose, but
not at the Prairie Rose. It's at the Hotel Turkey, but it's steak night and it's a New Year's Eve party. So that's going to be a damn good time if you can make it out to Turkey, Texas, the home of Bob Wills. And if you can't make it there, the Blue Light, the one and only Blue Light on January 7th. But yeah, come and find us and come and watch us, listen to us. People seem to have been enjoying it so far, so we hope they continue to enjoy it.
Hell yeah, brother. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time, man. I'd love to have you guys back on sometime in the future around whenever you get that next record ready.
No,
you know,
to
open
all
door,
you guys,
open
man,
door.
I'm telling you, the pleasure is all ours, man. We really appreciate you guys listening to us. When we started this deal, we didn't know if anybody'd ever really hear it, apart from who we had on Facebook or whatever. And when Blaze told me about this thing, he said, "Would you want to do a podcast with some guys in North Carolina?" I'm like, "Shit, yeah." I'm right away. I'm on board. When you tell me when?
Hell yeah, man.
It's our pleasure for you guys to have us on, man. It really it's a real pleasure, and we're honored to do it.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate it again. And for this episode of Country and Cold Cans with Mason and the Gen Line, Andy and Kyle, I'm Logan, and we'll see you next time.